When you get into, even how the coffee is roasted and the beans are roasted and one or two cracks and then the flavors and how it's manipulated so you can enjoy, I always say people just do it, but it's nothing like that first sip of your coffee. The rest is okay, but it's something, they give it to you and you hit that. I think we just want the first sip. The rest is just, we want that experience. So.
Wow. So you're inspired. You leave the job. Like, did you quit or were you laid off? Was it a...
Yeah. No, I left in always try to leave in a good way because you never know if you have to go back. And, but you find that once you start telling people, okay, I'm doing this, so many people are behind you. There's people that will cheer you on for you being able to do what they know they can't do and will never do. And I was getting, even in, my last assignment in the federal government, I told my manager, she's an awesome leader. And, this is, first of all, normally don't tell your manager, but it was inspiring to share it with her. And I told her, and she was just like, wow. One day she called me into her office and she said, I really need you here. And we can, you stick with me, great things can happen, but I think you need to jump.
Our parents give us love, affection, and projection, the vision of who we're destined to be, free. The price we pay is the pain we endure, never in vain though, for our passion is our fuel, school of hard knocks, distance learning our pension, earning every shift, our gifts make room for us by us, playing our position, keeping the dream in motion. Promotion comes from he who stands in the gap, real rap. Everything we envision needs provision and protection. This is for the resurrection of a people till we equal. Correction, we're already beyond it. Obstacles unimaginable, look how we responded. Potential unfathomable, yet we find ignorance appealing. Ceiling, self-imposed. Till we stop feeling and acting worthless on the mother shows, truth be told is about purpose. This is how the story goes.
So today we're here with Ken Moorman,
yes.
the founder of Girani Coffee House here in Manassas, Virginia. Good to see you,
Ken.
Ken.
Yeah, hey, it's a pleasure, brother.
Pleasure to talk to you.
Yes, sir.
So we just want to talk a lot about your business. This is a big venture, and we're, first of all, very proud of you. Very few African Americans involved in coffee at any level, and it's a big business. We all know that.
Yeah.
So just jump right into it. I was doing some research before I came over, and I found that with regard to what we think of as a transatlantic slave trade, coffee going back to Europe was the last piece of that trade. Coffee and sugar, right?
Yes.
And so when I think about Manassas, the Battle of Bull Run, and having a coffee shop, a black-owned coffee shop right here in Manassas, and the juxtaposition of all of that, I really am excited about this conversation that we're about to have today. So just talk to me a little bit about how you even got into what made you decide I want to be in coffee.
Coffee, yeah. So, my wife and I, we've done real estate for many years.
Yeah.
She had just came home to homeschool the kids.
Okay.
But we still knew that there was something else we wanted to do in the community. We was praying about it, we wasn't sure. So one day, I was working in the federal government at that time, got off the train, and as clear as day, something said, open up a coffee house right over there.
Really? Just riding on the train?
So to that point, I've never, and I can't really tell you like it wasn't an audible voice, but it was just so loud I couldn't deny it.
Gotcha.
What I heard inside out to say. And I knew I had to go home and tell my wife, hey, I think we're supposed to open up a coffee house. So,
now, did you drink a lot of coffee? Or?
Okay, at that time, I didn't drink coffee.
At all? You didn't drink coffee?
At all.
So you just, what do you...
So that's what really made it even more crazy.
Did your wife drink coffee?
We didn't really drink it. We didn't have any coffee at the house.
So you weren't coffee drinkers, so I know she thought you were crazy.
Oh, crazy. Oh, yeah. And rightfully so.
Right,
and
right.
I remember everything she said, and even I was saying to myself as to why we shouldn't. The timing wasn't right. Like I said, she had just...
What year, what time frame are we talking?
This is probably, so I would say about 7 years ago now. So 7
Wow,
years.
so 2011 time frame. Okay.
You know, and it just wasn't the right time.
Right.
Didn't have the money to do this. Didn't really know anything about coffee because we didn't really drink it, to say.
Right.
Even though I know
Right,
one of our
right.
first dates, we went and had coffee. That's all.
Right.
That's
You
because
had
it was
coffee on
probably
your
the
first
thing
date.
to do.
It was the
you
thing
know?
to do.
You
Gotcha.
know what I'm saying? But I remember telling her, saying, okay, hey, all this is great. You know, I understand why we shouldn't do it. Just remember, I came home one day and I told you that God told me we need to open up a coffee house.
So right off the bat, this is a faith venture for you.
Oh, yeah. Inspired business.
How do you go from that moment, and what is like from that moment to getting the idea off the ground? Like, yeah.
So, you know, and I teach and I mentor a lot of people, and I talk to them about everything you've done in your past is really for what you're trying to do in the moment. You know, all those crazy jobs I've had, all those, I really never had a job I liked. So most entrepreneurs don't.
Right.
You can't, you
right.
just boop, 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 you keep
It's just
jumping
not
around.
comfortable. Yeah.
It's just not comfortable.
Yeah.
But I knew wherever I was, I excelled, you know, so
Right.
I mentioned earlier, you know, for like 10 years I did new store sets with TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Foreman Mills, so I knew how to create any big box, small box retail. I knew the ins and outs to get contractors in, the HR side of it. So I
Right.
knew I could do it. Now these stores are making $25, $30 million a year. You're not thinking that.
Right.
People going in there and buying all this stuff. So I was like, one day I'm gonna do something like this for myself. Coffee wasn't even a thought.
Right.
But I
'Cause you
always
don't drink
wanted-
coffee.
Yeah, at the time. I'm an expert on it now.
Right.
Just for the record. Because you got to know your business.
For sure. Yeah, we're gonna get
Yeah, we're gonna get in there.
You know your business,
Yeah,
right?
you got to get in there.
Yeah,
so I knew I had to immerse myself in the coffee culture.
But at that point, you were
Yeah.
learning how to build the infrastructure
Yes.
for business.
Yeah. And most of the places we work, that is exposed to us if you just look.
If you pay
If you-
attention.
if you're not, a lot of times your focus is on you're like, I'm at a place
Task.
I don't want to be, or the task. But if you look at the task and how you receive that task, you can see the model that you're in.
Talk about so you're in your job. You said you never had a job that you enjoyed.
Never, not once.
So-
and I'm a creative, so you know I like to sing and I love the arts. So that's all. I know a whole nother thing.
That's So we
So
got to
I
get
really
it.
didn't.
So even beyond that, so you were in a group before.
Oh yes, years ago, in '99, music group. Typical story of guys from Philadelphia. Where we gonna make it. We moved to Hollywood, got our deal, lost the deal, and then I had to get a normal job again in 2000. So
That's very difficult, right?
Oh, my
To
gosh.
go from your dream or something that you're
Yes.
gifted to do, having to go back just to generate the revenue to live.
yeah, you got to eat.
Right. And did you
Yeah.
come here right from LA? Or?
No, I went back to back home, the Philadelphia area. I'm from Bristol, Pennsylvania, right outside of Northeast, and so I
And you
went back
came-
there, went back to Philly, had to figure it out and start all over, but a lot older.
Right.
And,
And
I
why
was
is
in my
it-
late 20s, 28 at that time.
Oh, you still had plenty of time.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
had-
plenty of
so
time.
you took the leap early in life,
Yes.
and then you make your way back.
Yeah.
So at some point you get in with the TJ Maxx group or
Yeah,
that
yeah.
group.
So, and that's what I'm saying. If you look at your life, it's really all connected. So while we were in Hollywood, a friend, brother of ours, we ran his shop, his clothing store on Melrose Avenue.
Wow.
Now he was an executive for some other big retail stores, and but he taught me the ins and out on how to run his. So I took that, and that's how I got into big box from a clothing store on Melrose Avenue.
So then you get the experience,
I got the experience.
and then you eventually end up in DC.
Yes. So once I started, you know, my career in retail, and then I got into executive management, then they moved me from Philadelphia to open up new stores in Baltimore, Maryland.
So you came into Baltimore.
Baltimore, I got to Maryland.
Okay.
And then one of my employees, after being there for a few years, they were like, hey, I got a friend of the family. She's really nice. You need to meet her. This is my wife. She lived in Manassas, Virginia.
And now you met your
And
wife.
I've been here for 12 years.
And then you
13
come
years.
home and tell her, we need to do a coffee shop out of the
After-
blue. After
after
I've been
being
in
married.
music
Yeah.
and management and
Yes.
retail, and now you're in the government, and now you want to do coffee.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she responded
Oh, she said all the right things that I knew anybody would. It's just
Right.
not the right time. You don't have the money. First of all, what do you know about coffee?
Right.
Well, I know you did retail, but that was before her.
So
You
we're
know.
gonna work our way back to. At some point, you have to go and answer all those questions.
Yes.
Right. Now I know about coffee.
Yeah.
Now I figured out how to get the money. I found a location. But I want to talk a little bit. Typically, when people like start a business,
Mm-hmm.
particularly if they already an employee and that's what they've always done,
Mm-hmm.
it takes something to push them out.
Mm-hmm.
What's the thing that pushed them out? Because usually it's some sort of I can't take it anymore,
Yes.
or
Oh,
you
yeah.
lose your job altogether. Like, how did you
yeah.
decide I'm gonna take the leap?
So, I actually, I got to the point where my cubicle was literally caving in on me. You know when a job can, you know when a job can,
suffocating.
when I was physically getting ill from going to that job. Now, mind you, it was a blessing for someone else. It was a blessing. It's the federal government.
Yeah.
Mind you, we could have just rolled this out. I didn't have to take this lead. I could have settled. And my life, I would have had plenty of money in the bank, even right now, and just rolled life out. But then it's like, well, what is that about? That's the questions I had to ask myself. Am I just going to just? And it's
So you
okay.
weren't
It's okay
seeking-
if you decide that, but some of us can't. We can't handle that. It's like I got to do this. Now you also talking about a guy that went and slept on floors to do a dream and music, and I
So
got
it's
to
in
do-
you anyway.
That's
It was in you. So entrepreneurship is in you,
It's
and
been
you're creative.
Been in me since
Right.
a little boy.
So you've done little businesses as a kid. Is that where?
No, I remember I think when the seed was planted, elementary school, and you seen it on this is the truth, you seen it on TV where it's like, all right, Billy, what do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, like fireman, right?
Right.
Susie, what do you want to be? I want to be a dancer. And it got to me, and like, Kenneth, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a businessman.
So where did that come from? Were your
I have
parents?
no idea. No.
Wow.
I have no idea but that's my
Wow.
And I spent all my life trying to figure out, till I got to that point. You have these dreams, and people want to be doctors and all that. They know early on. Most people that want to be a doctor or a lawyer, they know as a kid.
Yeah.
Time
It's something
parents,
about business
it
that
just-
it's not a flow. Like
yeah.
it's a roundabout way you come into
how
it.
you come in, yeah.
Unless maybe your parents or somebody
Yes.
had a business and you have that kind of education.
Yes.
If you don't have a business background that you're walking into, like I think about Gary Vee, right, who was an immigrant, so his parents were forced to have a business because where were they going to work, right?
Yeah,
And so now he comes in, he works in his family's business,
yeah.
right? And so that he has the infrastructure around him to gain that education. But the most of us, the current education system doesn't really gear you towards business or entrepreneurship at all.
At all.
You have to actively go against the grain to do it. So how did I know we want to get into it, but just like how did you like navigate? You bounced around. You knew you could sing. So was the thought that you were going to go to LA and become a musician or artist, and then that's how you're going to make your money, and then go into business?
Well,
or was it even connected?
that was still the music business.
You still so either
So
way
it
you're
was business. I
independent. The
was
bottom line is
independent.
independence.
Yes.
Right. So maybe that's what the whole cubicle suffocating
Oh
you
my
is,
gosh.
closing in
Yes.
on you, is when you're independent minded, having somebody come and tell you
my
you got to be in one place
Yes.
every day
Every day.
for this amount of time, from this time to this time, and you can do well at it and still not
And
and still be dying on the inside.
yeah. So what do you do when you have your mind? You say, okay, I want to. I remember I was like, man, if I can just make $50,000 a year, that's all I need. This is when I was young. Okay, you make that, and you're like, okay, I still don't have no money. Okay, if I can just make 80, okay, you get to 80. If I just did 6 figures, you start making more than 6 figures, and you are miserable.
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
You're in
What do
trouble.
you see? We don't talk about that.
It's interesting.
Because when it's not about the money, even though we need it for everything we want to do.
You need money, yeah.
But what happens? Where do you go after that 6-figure mark, and you're not happy? With your contribution to society,
the
to
world.
yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, 'cause you're spending a lot of time at these places, and it's like, man, I'm just not getting fed. The way but grateful. So it's tough because
you don't want to express, like, because sometimes you're in a situation where maybe you're unemployed. One time I was unemployed, I lost a job, and when you're unemployed and you need to re-up your savings.
Yeah.
You're constantly saying, you're praying for a job.
It ain't job.
You need a job. You need anything. But imagine you're unemployed. You are a creative. Your independence is in you. You want to be a business person, and now you're praying for a job. You know good and well, 6 months after you get it,
I ain't gonna want it.
because you really didn't need a job. You want money.
You just need money.
You needed the money, but not the job.
The job.
And one time I told my dad, I'm working hard. I want to make 6 figures by the time I'm 30. That's my goal. And he said something to me that I really didn't understand at the time. That goes along the line with what you just said about wanting to make more money.
More.
He says, there's no doubt in my mind that if that's your goal, you'll get it. You'll reach it. My only concern is that you'll set another goal. And I was like, well, of course. That's what you do when you reach your goals. Of course. And so I was like, man, whatever. And I just I didn't, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm going to set another goal. And I did. But it wasn't until I reached that next goal that I realized, oh, that's what he meant by that. Like, the satiety wasn't there. I still, it was not feeding me. I use that language. It's not feeding me. And so how do you, like, was there a moment where you were pushed out, or did you just say, I better get out before I take myself out? What is it?
So, and this is for inspired businesses, right? So this is just my philosophy. This is what I know for me. But for inspired businesses, okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, it breaks every law of business. This is inspired business, meaning it came from, it's not something you just did on your own. It came from something outside of you, your faith, or you knew that it is too good for you to create yourself. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So inspired business, it breaks every law of business. You know, it's going to go against the grain.
Can I ask this question before you get into it? Because you use this word, I've never heard it, this phrase, inspired businesses. Business, yes. Okay, I'm going to ask a question. As opposed to what?
As opposed to a business that you create in your own strength, through your own intellect, you know, meaning, okay, you know, I do carpentry. I'm going to open up I fix cars. I'm going to do this automotive business. This is what I do. You know, it's kind of great business, very lucrative, or, you know, marketing. Okay, I do marketing, you know.
I do marketing at work.
I do work, you know, so I'm going to, it's not something that was just given to you, or it's just this crazy thing, you know, crazy to the rest of the world, but you can't deny that you're supposed to do this, you know.
So, yeah, this is good. This is rich right here. Let me get into it. Let's go in. You know, if we're going to go there, I think that for me, I talk a lot about purpose-driven startups, right?
Purpose-driven. Okay.
Purpose-driven, right? Yeah. And I really want to talk about, like, this distinction you're making between inspired businesses and which I might call, let's say, purpose-driven, right? But do you think that that you can get to the inspired business?
Yes.
But that's what, you know what I mean? Because one of the things that I tell people all the time, I feel like that, what I call maybe like a lot of people call like the marketing business that's just you. You're going from being an employee to being self-employed, right? And so this gets you out. I think that I call them like a gateway drug, if you will, into business, right? Because once you pull yourself out of there, and now you have to figure out how to get clients. You just been doing marketing. Somebody else got the clients. Yes. Now you have to get the clients, run the payroll. Set the accounting, you know, and all that
deliver
stuff,
the
and deliver the final product.
Yeah.
So I do think that taking that step towards independence, right, is a step towards independence, whichever way you go.
Whichever way you go.
So, and I think if you are inspired, right, along that way, you'll realize, because really to go back, I reached my original goal, but just like I said, talking about that, by the time I was 30, right? And I set another goal. By that time, I want to own my own business. And then, right, so now I'm making even more than that in this new business that was the exact same thing. It took me a while. It took me a solid 4 years before I got to the point where I realized this wasn't inspired. Or the original inspiration, I was lost. But the money was amazing, right? So now I'm not there anymore. And I want to talk, tell me about, this inspired business and why that's different than that thing right there, because that's big.
Oh yeah. It's so broad, and I'm trying to really bring it down into here. You said something that had me on a thought trail that I want to take everybody. So a lot of times, and hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
So different thing this is from a spiritual aspect.
Yeah.
It's kind of like for some people, it's like, okay, I heard something, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
For others, it's like I heard it, I ain't doing that.
Right.
But also believe on a higher level. If I gotta say, oh, you're good at marketing and that's tangible for you, okay, I'm gonna take you the marketing route. I already whispered in your ear and told you what to do. I know you're gonna believe that.
Right.
I know you'll believe because you can do marketing. Eventually, you're gonna wind up doing what I told you. The inspired part. So when you look back, you've been inspired the whole time.
You're definitely going to go to Nineveh one way or the other.
Yeah, you're going to get there. So you're going to take the long way?
Oh,
which gets back to,
exactly.
For me, you can't, bringing it back to, how do we get to having a vision, actually doing it. There's no way to do it without levels of faith. And it's different levels. But there's that first jump of faith.
Yes.
Even if people don't call it that, that's what it is.
Well, the thing is, you're saying by faith, right? You're saying this wasn't a coffee shop.
No, not
right.
At all.
This wasn't a coffee
nothing
shop. Right?
What you see now. It wasn't one.
So then the question you have to ask yourself is it's faith, because at some point you're saying you're seeing something in a certain way, even though today that's not how it is. It's a vision that you have. And so by faith, you walk out into that vision.
You walk into that.
So how do you, but was there something, did you lose your job? Was there something that pushed you, or were you just that strong in your faith?
At that point, I was really, really strong in my faith. But I knew if I did nothing, I was going to quit. I knew I was going to
So were you working on this at night all along, gathering data?
Oh, yeah. I remember not only gathering data, but on the hour train ride into DC, hour back. I mean, doing business plans on the train.
Gotcha.
So you really started, every bit of time that I have, I didn't waste.
I call that the second 40. You got your 40 hours a week. You got to have another 40.
Yeah, you got to give up.
Yeah, you got to give
do
up.
This, you're going to give up. And I gave up sleep. I gave up
hanging out,
watching. People, there's so much time wasted. When you have a vision and think something to do, you cut all that out, because there's no way to have all those luxuries. Well, they appear to be luxuries, but they're not. And try to do your business too, and so it's just a whole lot you need to do. Look at your finances, start pulling all that back. So my wife and I, we knew the train was coming. If you land on the tracks and you know the train coming, you're gonna let the train run you over, or you're gonna go ahead and prepare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we started, okay, let's try to live simple. I ain't jumped with a whole lot of debt.
Right. Right.
Just pull all that in, And I talked to people, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm really trying to pull everything in." I said, "You got cables?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You ain't ready."
You ain't ready?
You don't even have time to watch.
First of all,
people that's really doing business, they don't have time to watch TV. You reading books, you reading, like you were saying, you studying on coffee and all your research. You falling asleep with the stuff. If you can still get the 2 and 3 episodes of anything, I'm telling you right now, you ain't committed to your vision.
That is amazing. That's just a good word. You ain't got time for TV. If you still got cable, you ain't even really serious about this.
Now I know if you got kids and stuff, you got to have it, but with Netflix and all that stuff now, hey man, bring them costs down.
Exactly.
Because I'm here to tell you,
the day will come.
You won't spend all that money trying to do that vision. Yeah.
At some point, you leave the job, and now you're in.
Yeah.
Now, but that once you leave, the revenue starts coming in.
Yeah.
Now you're on the clock,
Yeah.
right? You got to get to revenue by certain, which means you got to have some money saved up.
Yeah.
Right.
Some cases, yeah, it depends on someone's vision, you know.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
on-
different ways to do it. You know, I
Yeah.
normally advise in a perfect jump situation when your side hustle, when your main job is costing your side hustle money,
that's when you make the jump.
That's the
in an ideal scenario.
You're just like, man, I
But
can't
do you
even
know
get
anybody
this
that gets to that? I don't know.
there's
I
a
don't really
couple-
know anybody.
That's just a few lucky ones, you know.
You know what I mean?
But
Usually it's
not that. It's
yeah.
normally like, so in this case, you know, I built the team, brought, you know, my partner on, my wife. I took it as far as I could until I knew, okay, as a visionary, I got to leave my job. I took it as I
This is
could
your
not,
vision.
I could not. I mean, I had this building, people were in it. I'm at work trying to communicate, and I'm like, if I don't get there,
It's not going down.
yeah, you got to protect your vision. You got to protect your vision, and
Protect your vision.
yeah, and then not the people don't mean any
No,
harm,
but it's not their
just
vision.
You got to make sure it's
Yeah.
solidified. You got to make
Yeah,
sure
yeah, yeah.
people understand this is what it is. Even in creating your team, you know, it's like, you know, I don't bring no one on that is going to try to alter your vision. You know what I mean? They need to. At this point, whoever I'm dealing with, it's dangerous to get in front of somebody's vision. Don't get in. If you coming in, you come in to assist, to, you know, push and along. But you get in there and you're trying. You can advise. You're coming in, you know, but people really like, you know, oh, I had a dream for this too. Okay, that's your dream. I'm talking about this one here. This is where we going over here today. You know what I mean? But I need everybody to know, but when I go shift left, we going left, even if the textbook says go right.
That's an inspired business.
Inspired business.
So now we're back
Now,
full circle.
and kind of like, you know, from a spiritual standpoint, you got to know your business. So I know what the textbook said.
Right.
So I know when I'm off. The scary part, if you don't,
If you don't know when you off,
then
you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because now you thinking you doing.
you think it's one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what the Bible says. You know what I mean? This is
Right,
what,
yeah.
This is what business, all advice I've got said. This is what you need to do. And something inside me said, we going over here. Hey, okay, we supposed to go here.
How important is instinct in this business in
it's
Girani?
everything, everything. All the businesses that I have, that instinct is everything, from a marketing standpoint. But and then too, inspired business. You know, so even when doing this, you know, Girani, it's a coffee house, it's a community space. We do live events. You know, so when you do your research, you ain't getting nothing. I didn't realize there's nothing like this in the United States. Inspired business, not with the combination.
Did you have this vision for everything when you just said I'm gonna open a coffee house? It wasn't like, because you could have franchised a Pete's or one of the other box coffee shops. What made you say I want to do my own?
Well, I got this vision that told me a coffee house, right? So.
But a coffee house could have been, a franchise, right?
Yeah. I didn't know much about coffee, and then so when you look into that, you know, the piece, then you need $500,000.
Gotcha.
You know, and it's out of reach for most people.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, well, I still got to do this. How are we gonna do it?
So did you look into that and just decide, no, that's not the route?
Actually, no. When I looked in, it's like, so what you're sitting in is what I saw.
You just saw it.
Yeah.
So that makes me think, and we're gonna get into this, that
Well,
coffee's not your main business. Coffee's not the.
No, coffee is. And this is just people. I love people. I'm called to love people. So in this phase of my life, I'm getting people to love on through my carrot is coffee and the arts to bring people to me. So I knew a long time ago, somehow, some way, I was gonna make a living loving people.
That's it.
That's
it, we're in. So you figured out how to create a business model around loving people. And you feel that compelled and called to love people.
I love people. It's going to happen no matter where I'm at.
No
I'm
matter-
loving them
yeah.
on someone else's business, on the federal government, and you know what I mean? But, and I think I was telling someone this the other day, I think most entrepreneurs, the main thing we want in our life, we want control of our schedule.
Facts. Still time.
I mean, we want control over that. Being an entrepreneur, you have a lot control over your day.
One thing I can attest to is like how committed you were to the vision that you had.
Yeah.
Right? You protected the vision, as you said earlier. Like everything is like, you said you're going to have a room where people can come with a library and people can just check out books.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And then you had somebody else run that, and now they're off doing their thing.
You see now.
I see.
Okay. Come
right.
on now.
Listen. Right. And
Yes,
now,
right.
you know, you talked about having the places the little cubby holes over
Mm-hmm.
there, right? So I think about like everything and how consistent you were with everything you want to do. Like, what was the thing that helped you get people so committed to that vision that I don't see any waver. I mean, maybe there were, right? But I don't see any wavering in that vision.
Yeah.
Like, how did you protect the vision? What mechanism did you use?
I would say, I think just always knowing where I was at, you know, personally.
Right.
And because I just wouldn't deny what I kept saying. You know,
Was there
don't-
ever a time when you felt like, you know what, this is not going to work. I need to go back and get a job.
Whew, yes. I mean, so, you know, we talk about all of that, but then let's talk about fear and the night sweats and, you know, all that was in action, you know.
So it's not just like, oh, I know this is going to, right.
You know, so even in the beginning, it's kind of like when you know you're going to jump off a plane with no chute, you're going to have a problem, you know. But in your spirit, you know you're still jumping. I knew I was still going to do it. So, you know, what if this fell? You know, man, you get to a point, and then you get to a point where you can't turn around. There was so many people following my vision. I couldn't let them down. It gets beyond.
It's not about you anymore.
It ain't about you.
Yeah.
So that's how business is set up. And if you start taking steps and everyone and then you see like other people's dreams is in it, it's like, man, I can't. So it becomes where even those days when I couldn't do it for myself, I do it for those believing in me and what we're doing.
Maybe that's why it gets that way, because you will run out of gas, and you need some inspiration yourself,
Yes.
right, to move forward. What's your competitive advantage against any of the other chains? Like, especially the bigger ones, because they have the ability to build this out, right? If it's successful.
Yeah.
Like, what's your competitive advantage, if at all?
You know, anyone could build it. They can see this and build it. I've had so many people like, man, I want this. This is what I saw. I'll call it. So Girani called, this is good. You know it's good. So Girani, we're gonna go, it's about that neighborhood. We'll build more, and wherever neighborhood that is, it's gonna fit that neighborhood. But I call it, what we're gonna do, we're just franchising the field. It's gonna feel like Girani and won't even look like this. If we go into Arlington, closer to DC, it's not gonna look like this. It's gonna be like that neighborhood, but it's gonna feel like Girani. And how you do that? Be committed to love. You can be committed to the arts.
That's good.
That's good. I tell you.
That's gonna preach good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
they're gonna
yeah,
let out,
yeah.
yo.
And a lot of people aren't
franchising
committed
the
to that. They're
field.
committed to the business, not to that. Because you can't fake it. You got to
can't
give
fake
it.
that.
You got to give it.
You can't fake
I'm
that at
called
all.
to give it. So it ain't hard for me.
Talk about your network. Like, how did you get the people together? How did you decide on your team?
Yeah.
Like, what was your process?
So
Because you already had the HR background from the building store, so you knew kind of functionally how to do it.
I knew
but,
exactly
like,
what it took to put a building up. You know.
Yeah.
And so it's something, and you start thinking about, man, I talked to this person. I literally said because I did real estate for years, and that's different. But when you have a building, it's just a different business. Any business, once you have a building.
Once you have a building.
It doesn't matter. But I remember saying, okay, I'm going to do business in a different way. Totally trust, totally just faith, you know. And not to over-spiritualize it, but it is what it is. And so I literally, I knew it was an inspired vision. And so my prayer life was like, okay, who? You know, and I just waited.
So really that's just your way of making decisions, like when you pray about it and then you see God gives you a vision, or you have like somebody walk in and you know spiritually, your spirit
I'm like,
is,
this is the person.
Yeah.
And for this particular business, that's how it happened. And it was like, you need to speak to this person, or just like share your vision with this person. Actually, oh, you know, what's the name had a, you know, they wanted to be a part of something like this. And before I knew it, I had a general contractor, I had, marketing manager, I had shift leaders and store managers, and, it was a team of 8. And what was awesome, so it got to the point, I remember my wife saying, you can't do this by yourself. It's just, you're just too busy, And then I was like, well, man, I need a partner, And then that's where, my partner, Jesse Sousa, he, years ago, and he's brilliant. He's brilliant in his heart, and he understands vision, and he's a brilliant person to me, and just beautiful human, And that's who I need to be attached with. You know what I'm saying?
So it was more about your ability to connect with the human, and of course, they had to have the gift, the talent, to be able to execute on the job.
Yeah.
But there are more people with the talent than there are people you can actually work with to get a vision out.
Yes, it's a must.
So you got to figure out.
It takes a team to get a vision off. That's what I say. And one of the biggest things I want to share with your audience is, and this kept being spoke to me, just because you can do it, don't mean you should.
Ooh.
Like most entrepreneurs, we're pretty good at a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I know I am.
You have to be.
Yeah.
You better be.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
You get to the point we've seen this stuff, if you can carry your dream by yourself, it's too small, for one. It takes a team. I don't care how small or large, it takes a team. I can draw, I can do graphics, I can do HR, I can do construction stuff. You know what I mean? But when you're the visionary, you can't be tied with all that, trying to get it off. You know what I mean? But the problem, the most challenging part of this is who finding the right people that will respect your vision and help you sincerely and understands it and want to get behind it. But what I've learned is once I start putting it out there and just telling the story, when you get to the sense knowing that your vision is tied to someone else's dream, so you don't even have the luxury of not doing it. It ain't even about Ken Moorman. There's so many other people whose businesses started through here. If I wouldn't have done it,
how would they have
kids that's getting fed from, and this is just a little coffee house. Imagine if, Coca-Cola, So
you're inspired. You leave the job. Like, did you quit or were you laid off? Was it a?
Yeah, no, I left always try to leave in a good way, because you never know if you have to go back. And but you find that once you start telling people, okay, I'm doing this, so many people are behind you. There's people that will cheer you on for you being able to do what they know they can't do and will never do. And so I was getting, even in, my last assignment in the federal government, I told my manager, she was an awesome leader. And, this is, first of all, normally don't tell your manager, but it was inspiring to share it with her. And I told her, and she was just like, wow. One day she called me into her office, and she said, I really need you here. And we can, you stick with me, great things can happen, but I think you need to jump. Yeah, she said, you're bigger than this place. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's people that's assigned to help you, push you along to get
take
to
that
your,
leap.
because sometimes you can't do it alone. You cannot do it alone. And if you look back, there's always people put in your life to kind of nudge here, nudge there.
Talk about the provision, like how I know you had some savings because you stayed on your job. You cut back on things. That's how you kind of help things stay afloat. But like, it's very difficult to, let's say, in 3 years. I think I met you in 2014.
Yeah.
Around about that time,
Yeah.
2015. 3.5 years, you can't save up the kind of money that can to put something like this together.
Oh no.
So like, talk about how you got investors, how you got
So it's
funding.
just find out which, depending on your business, the SBA, and there's different types of funding out there for entrepreneurs. If you package it well, there's people who wants to, invest in what you have. You have to do your research. You have to do your due diligence. You have to know your business. You have to, and in that learning, where do you get, at some point it's like, okay, where am I gonna get the money from? Okay, that's fine. Google it. I mean, sometimes it's just like Google it.
Right.
How do I get money for this business? You wouldn't believe the information come up. But then when you see it, well, I had mentioned this. So on the other side of now you done made this decision to do it. On the other side of that decision, there's gifts, there's insight that you didn't know you had, this stuff, but you got to take the step.
Yeah.
And I don't care what the business, big or small, you have to go there and then. So,
do you feel like you can get to tap into those things only after?
Only after. You have enough
to get going.
But
there's things you didn't know you could do.
My partner and I, we built most of this. I didn't. We put this brick up. We did the floors. There's stuff that I didn't know I could do. But when you have yours, and it's like for you to do it, or you want to pay someone, you learn. And you couldn't believe, like, man, I could kind of do this. Most of the money spent is in labor, any business. So you start cutting your costs.
You got to hit that labor.
Yeah, or you get the right people just cut, hey man, I'll show you. Some people are so busy, they believe in your vision, but they don't want to take it fully on. Okay, fine. What can you? Oh, I can show you how to do it, then you just do it. I'll come and check. Awesome.
Wow.
So now when we build the next one, it's going to be, we know time it takes.
Yes.
A contractor can't come here and just tell me any old thing. No. This here, I know this brick here, this is what it costs. So it's great.
So
more
I think
are
that's really important, like being willing to be hands-on in your business.
Yeah, the first one, I want some sweat equity in it.
Is the vision to expand, franchise? What's your expansion plan?
Yeah. After I got the vision, or the words is, open up a coffee house. Immediately after that was document it, because you're gonna have to teach it and do it again. So when we did this, we documented everything in faith, knowing we're going to do more. So
another area where you're just phenomenal, I think, the sawdust. You know how to take wood and make money off the sawdust.
Oh man,
and that's amazing for any business. Right, to figure out those ancillary opportunities to generate revenue. Talk about like some of the different revenue streams that you have just in this one location.
Yeah, so in the beginning when I was doing my research, and in most coffee shops they're selling, none of them just sell coffee. They got coffee and then they got clothes, or it's like a coffee jewelry house, it's a coffee art,
cakes with it and scones.
You need, it's because you got to have a lot of volume to really rake in.
In any business, right? Especially in brick and mortar, like the key is dollars per square foot.
There you go.
Right, on the buying side, when you buying or leasing, they're gonna charge you based on dollars per square foot, among other things. That's a key metric.
Yeah.
Right, but once you get in it, now it becomes how do I because I only have this much square feet.
How do you?
So how do you maximize
I'm still doing real
per
estate.
square feet? You're still doing real estate.
This is real estate for me, And,
so your objective, that's your key metric. How many?
How do I maximize the real estate space that's in? And that's normal retail.
Yeah.
101.
Any retail. Yeah.
Okay, I can't have, like, you go to you go to Walmart, you go to Target. There's no empty space. There's something there, and they're maximizing.
And they're gonna use it to generate revenue.
When that stops, they'll get that out and put something else there until you hit it. So even in here, we knew that, okay, we're gonna do the coffee and then the art. We do shows and live music, so we got ticket sales on that.
Right.
We sell art. We give artists a platform to. It's an art gallery. So the local artists, they can sell their art right off the wall here, and we don't.
And you take a
A
percentage.
small percentage, but it's enough so artists can still make some money.
Right.
And then we rent out our kitchen to local bakers or chefs, so they can do their. At one point we had 5 different businesses operating out of here.
Out of the kitchen.
Between the kitchen, between
The bookstore.
art, book. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you have different. So you make money off food, of course, coffee, concerts,
Yes.
art commission,
Yes.
right? Rent out space for the
Rest of
kitchen. Just 5, 6, 7 businesses.
Yeah.
Talk about the $1 billion industry that is coffee, and
Oh yeah.
was that at all attractive to you, or?
So, I really, when business, I try to see, especially if any other African Americans, who do I know doing it? I didn't know anybody doing
Who
coffee.
do you know? Yeah.
The only African American I knew that doing coffee was Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson, who's
But
no longer in the coffee business. He resold them. So,
Well, everything's for a
whoever-
season. Everything's for a season.
So like how? Who do you go to? There's no one in your network that can really mentor you on it. So now it's really
so it's
you're relying on being an inspired business.
and just understanding business. So I know that you have to know your business. So I immerse myself in coffee culture. Google. You get out there and you realize there's so many chats and forums. It's overwhelming. Then you're overwhelmed with data.
Yeah.
Good
So you went from knowing nothing to having
just
too much
abundance.
information.
And what happens is I wound up having to get off of them because there's a lot of, you start reading like all this stuff why you shouldn't do your thing. Whatever your thing is, there's forums on why you shouldn't do it. And I was like,
right. No matter what you want to do,
no
there's
matter
somebody
what it is.
against.
There's a whole community in that industry saying don't do it, but you don't know their story. Did they prepare right?
Right.
Did they, so it's kind of, I got to pull back from this because I'm getting discouraged. Like, once again, this don't make sense to do. If you get I didn't get into coffee to, I didn't feel like it was going to be a cash cow for me. We've only been open for 2.5 years.
Right.
But there's a lot of stuff, if you can get into coffee to make money, get out. It ain't about,
it's a lot of money to be made in coffee, right?
It's like one of the number 1 commodities, right?
Exactly. Only second to oil, as I read.
Yeah.
That's the only thing bigger than coffee is oil.
And we can talk about it later, but coffee is the common denominator for all cultures. Every culture drinks coffee. It doesn't matter in the world.
Which makes sense. Because Jirani is Swahili for
neighborhood or neighbor.
Neighbor. So
neighborhood coffee house.
This is your neighborhood coffee house.
Yes.
And you invite all, very much inclusive environment.
Everybody. Our mission statement, we have a 1-word mission statement, and it's love. So we don't define it, we just show you. So whatever love is to you, that's what it is. When you come here, we're going to love on you. In the beginning, I hired a lot of employees and a lot of experienced employees from some of the big corporate places, baristas. Yeah. And that don't work because this is different. So some did, but most don't. You got to train them.
They have to unlearn.
Unlearn because it ain't about. I'm always like, well, what about the people? Okay, everyone. The least thing we talk about in here is coffee. But when you get to the coffee, it needs to be outstanding.
For sure.
But it's about people coming here for the way they're treated, the way it feels in here. We sell environment. People come here for love, and it's no doubt.
Inclusion. I think that you have mastered the art of inclusion, but I didn't realize that coffee in and of itself.
It's amazing. Some days I come in here and I see all religions. I see monks and Muslims and Christians and all drinking coffee in one place in Old Town Manassas.
That's really
that's a whole nother.
That's a completely different conversation, right? This isn't the most diverse area in the world, right? And particularly but you figured out a way in this climate, right?
Yeah.
Cultural and politically, it's a lot of divisiveness.
Yes.
But you figure out a way to bring a lot of different people together. And I think that's really important.
It's amazing,
for having that environment. What the formula was just a one-word mission statement.
Love. People, and I have had business people come in here and they're looking for another answer. I'm like, we're just loving on people. We're still working out our model. We're still streamlining our processes to make this place profitable.
For sure.
But the reason, the attention, love is powerful. It's powerful. I only hire the heart. I don't hire anyone that's experienced. I hire the heart. You got to understand this vision. And we talk about people. I teach you coffee. I hire the heart. That's it.
Man, that's
I know, man.
I mean, I don't even
truth,
know if
man.
the people ready to hear that.
I know,
there,
right?
Man. There's a lot of it, but that's
now certain
big.
industries you
important.
can't do that, but
sure.
for here in a people business, this is a people business.
I guess it is a people business first.
Hospitality and all of that.
So the way you've built everything, like you've built it from the ground up to be both include arts,
Yes.
to include external businesses to participate in it. Like you said, you've helped launch
Give them
other
a
businesses.
platform, yeah.
It's a platform.
Yeah.
So
it's about the arts. Yeah.
it is about the arts.
So we use
So how did you
coffee
know that vision?
and all of the arts to bring the community together.
Right.
When you think about it, how powerful art is. You think about like even just in mankind from years ago, like they bury it, they put it in vaults, they do whatever they got to do to keep art
preserve.
alive.
Wow.
Because they know art is life. We need art. Like it's, I'm an advocate for the arts, but it's like why do we build these big museums and put art in it?
I think. Do you think that? I wonder if is it art or is it expression?
Yes.
I think it's expression, and then art is such a vehicle for expression that we need art because we all need to express ourselves and we need inspiration. And so sometimes when you are in a place where you can express yourself,
most this is something now,
You need
I
inspiration.
just got this, but most businesses is just a form of expressed art,
for sure,
and they put it in a format that we can consume
and profit from, hopefully.
profit.
Yeah.
So they're it's all connected. My point.
Yeah.
So that's what.
So
we
that's
do.
what. So it's not foreign, right? Like,
Yeah.
we know. So like, let's talk a little bit about the why, because you said you want to love on people. Like, was there like some problem that you saw? Or was something that was missing in the space? What was?
Yeah. So and I was doing so it took me a couple of years to like get to where I'm doing it. So in the meantime, I'm doing my own, research, even as a consumer. So I noticed that my family and I, and everyone else I know, we go to these different restaurants, and we just restaurant hop. It's like you can never find your place.
Everybody needs their place.
And everyone's looking around, and they can, this new place open up. Go
Try
here,
that.
and you never really land on like. So I knew there's a need for a place where the community can come and go and feel comfortable. And if you got little kids, ain't no one running them out. There's enough space for them to be,
Children,
a creative space where, like I said, I was in Hollywood and I knew that there's a lot of talented people here. My kids are talented. And they had no place to really express it.
Expression. It all comes back to expression.
Back to that,
Even
without
coffee is about expression, is it not?
Oh,
How you like your coffee is an extension of you.
it's
It's
personality
people
types.
you don't mess up people's coffee. Like
It's so serious. It has a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
that, and I think that maybe that part of it has changed a lot over the years. Just the different ways in which people consume coffee.
Yeah.
And that's also art and expression as
Yeah.
well, like and taste,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I
Art,
think that's
it's
really
science.
big.
Coffee is a science. When you get into, even how the coffee is roasted and the beans are roasted and 1 or 2 cracks and then the flavors and how it's manipulated so you can enjoy. I always say people just do it, but it's nothing like that first sip of your coffee. The rest is okay, but it's something they give it to you. You hit that. I think we just want the first sip. The rest is just, we want that experience. So
Definitely. So what are your social media handles?
yes, so everything. Well, our website is GiraniCoffeehouse.com. All social media is Girani Coffee.
Oh, you were lucky. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's important too is like when you get these visions and you're really committed to it, go ahead and lock all that down early.
Yeah.
Get it and get the 1
Is
year.
it Girani Coffee or Coffee House?
Girani Coffee.
Gotcha.
On social media.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So that's it, man.
Last question.
Yeah.
When are we getting this in DC?
I know,
And how do
right?
we get access to invest in the next location?
That's right.
How are you
yeah.
raising capital, like, for the next location? Where's the next location?
Well,
give us an exclusive. I know
told-
you already looking.
Yeah,
I know
there's
you had a
something
vision.
coming, but I
Yeah.
can't share it yet. But
Promise me you'll just share it with us.
Oh yeah, I got
Okay.
you. Yeah, I'll
Okay,
come
okay.
back and I share with you guys. But I always, believe that someone's gonna walk through that door, and they're just gonna say how much. The biggest thing, and we talked about this too. A lot of times I meet entrepreneurs, and I ask them, "What you need?" And they're like, "Well, how much you need?" And they're like, "I don't always know how much you need."
Wow, that's
because
big.
when the person walk in and they ready and you ain't ready,
Missed
people with money
opportunity.
only dealing with folks that's ready.
I think we get
Come on,
people with money are only dealing with folks that's ready.
that's ready.
Ken,
Let's end on that,
thank you.
brother.
Let's-
Yeah,
that's good right there.
this is awesome,
Wow.
man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Peace.